desire. And now he's with Minnesota after signing on August the 18th. They convert on third down, giving the ball to Adrian Peterson down to the 34-yard line. Second down and 14. Peterson breaks it to the outside, cuts it back to the inside, and very close to a first down. Needed to get to the 23, and we'll check on the spot. He might be a half-yard short.
Well, this is the thing that Brett Favre's going to have to get used to on a second and long after a broken play. You know what? When I got Adrian Peterson, it's okay to hand him the ball because I may find myself in a 3rd and 1 or a short yardage rather than having to force the ball down the field.
Take it to Harvin. And this is Adrian Peterson. Inside the 5, down to the 3. Peterson has good hands, and he wants to be a back that you can depend on catching the ball out of the backfield with more frequency this year than his first 2 years.
And they've not used him in that way. This is just an extended handoff here. But this is exactly the thing. Imagine now Adrian Peterson gets the ball in his hands like an extended handoff outside the main box of the defense. That's just lethal.
And he'll lead block for Peterson. Very close to the goal line, still no signal. Brett Favre's giving one. The officials confirm that. Touchdown for Adrian Peterson. He had 10 rushing touchdowns a season ago.
Oh, this is just mano goal line. I'm gonna push you harder than you push me. You know, people always wonder, why is it so late to signal? Clearly he's in the end zone. These officials run in, they check with each other from one side to the other.
They're going to hand it to Peterson. Cuts it back to the inside. A good first down run, a gain of 5. Going to give it to Peterson on second down, and he has first down yardage to the Cleveland 44-yard line. Peterson this time is into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Nafahu Tahi leading the way from the fullback spot. And Peterson for the second time today has a touchdown.
Again, this is just a tone setter. This is Brad Childress saying, you know what? We have got to punch this thing in. As we said, which way did they go? That left side behind Hutchinson and McKinney. I'm going to put my money on the line. I'm going to do it against that Pro Bowl left side with Hutchinson and that first-round draft choice of Bryant McKinney.
Got to believe he's probably bleeding in his left arm there, Adrian Peterson. We talked about the fluids he was getting at halftime, and more than likely that's where he was getting it. Well, clearly Adrian Peterson, as we speculated, that's where they gave him those fluids at halftime that Carissa Thompson reported on. And apparently they haven't gotten that thing bottled up. But they convert the second down and 18. And on first down, Adrian Peterson plows ahead close to midfield. It's really taken him under his wing to try and get him up to speed in a hurry as a rookie. That's a first down carry. 10th play of the drive. And this is Adrian Peterson into the open field.
Wow, look at that.
Breaks a tackle down to the 14-yard line.
Abram Elam, you know, reminiscent of Barry Sanders. You play a Peterson like this, you sit up night fearful that you're going to look silly in the open field. This is just a great, look at him stick his foot in the sand and just accelerate out of that cut, leaving Elam in the dust. This is what makes Adrian Peterson the premier back in the National Football League. I'm not sure a fresh Adrian Peterson doesn't stay up.
Cleveland, Ohio. Brett Favre and the Vikings with a 24-13 lead, and Adrian Peterson just sticks his head down and got a big block from Jeff Dugan and rammed hard into Eric. It was just the 17th guy to ever try to play quarterback beyond the age of 40. Peterson into the secondary and tiptoes out of bounds. They'll spot it at the 12-yard line.
And this is how you end up leading the league in rushing. Yeah, this is where everybody talks about touches and how many times you should run in a game. When you've got control of the game, you're under 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, you're up by 2 scores. Now you just keep pounding and pounding and pounding away. Be shocked if you saw Brett Favre make any kind of foolish move here, trying to get the ball down the field.
And he'll add to that total. Breaking into the open field. And he shoves away one, shoves away another, and blasts his way into the end zone. A spectacular run by the most spectacular runner in the NFL, Adrian Peterson.
Wow, this guy is special. And the great Jim Brown we just talked about. When you see a guy like this crank off a 64-yard touchdown run that leads to the great Jim Brown. And taking nothing away from Adrian Peterson here. This is a phenomenal run. Speed, acceleration, now strength. Watch this. He's just going to push himself right by Eric Wright, right by, making his way into the end zone. But like we also said, now this is what's going to drive Eric Mangini nuts. That kind of poor tackling, that's the type of thing he's got to overcome with this team that's really got to have a change of culture right now.
So that 64-yard run gives Peterson 180 rushing yards. He has gone by Tommy Mason for 7th place on the Vikings all-time rushing list in 2 years in a game.
Look at the strength, just pushing him right by, then being able to pull the leg and the arm away, and the acceleration then. Boy, this guy's spectacular.
Peterson, the first-round pick by the Vikings in '07, grew up in Palestine, Texas. And he was great from day one at Oklahoma. His junior year that turned out to be his final year, he's hurt a lot.
Right, and that was
so
the
there
big
were
question.
questions about it.
That was the big question, and the teams that passed on him, you know, they'll get ripped now for how did you pass up Adrian Peterson. But the injury was a legitimate one, and at that point you really do have to listen to your medical people that are going to question how severe is it, how long is this guy going to play. There's a whole bunch of teams right now wishing that had maybe taken that chance.